there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby and today I'm going to be doing a thriller recommendation video. I'm going to be talking about some locked room mysteries slash thrillers. I love a locked room mystery where everyone is trapped in a location and you know someone is guilty and you're just trying to figure out who. I find that concept so intriguing, and usually I recommend 5 different books in my videos, but I have more like 7 here because I just really love this trope. Let me know what your favorite locked room mysteries are. I will link these all down below and let's get right into it. So when I think of the classic locked room mystery, I always think of Agatha Christie. So I have 2 of her books to talk about. The first one is the most classic and iconic Agatha Christie, and that is And Then There Were None. And this is about several individuals who get a letter in the mail inviting them to this remote island, and so they all travel to this island and they don't know why they're there. And one by one, these people are being picked off and murdered. You're trying to figure out who's doing it, and you're having a really hard time figuring it out because whoever it is very clever. And this one is such a classic mystery. And the next one is Murder on the Orient Express. And this one is one of the Poirot mysteries, and it follows this detective named Poirot who is traveling on the train of the Orient Express. And there's several passengers on there. And the train does break down and they're all stuck in a storm in this train, and a man is murdered. And so this detective is questioning all of the passengers and trying to figure out who murdered this man. And this one is just another great mystery. And the next 2 I have to talk about are both by Ruth Ware. I think she has some really good closed room mysteries. And the first one is her first publication, and that is In a Dark, Dark Wood. And this is about a woman who gets invited to go to a bachelorette party for a weekend in a cabin in the woods. And so she goes, and she hasn't seen the bride in many, many years since they were teenagers. And she's really not sure why she was invited because the 2 of them had a falling out. But she goes anyway, and some pretty terrible events start taking place, and the ladies are trapped in the woods. There is no cell reception, there is no escape. I found this one to be so much fun, and it is one of my favorite Ruth Wares by far. And the next one was the first Ruth Ware I ever read, and that is The Woman in Cabin 10. And this is about a journalist named Lo who she goes on this cruise ship to write an article about it. And the first night she's there, she swears she sees a woman pushed off the edge of the ship. But when she goes to tell the captain and try to get notice to it, they go over the roster of everyone who is on the ship, and they don't have anyone who is unaccounted for. So everyone thinks she is losing her mind, and you're wondering if she's a reliable character. And it's a locked mystery because she's trapped on this cruise ship and there is no way off. And I found this one to be really fast paced and another one of my favorites by this author. The next book I have to talk about is one I just read this year and I fell in love with it, and that is No Exit by Taylor Adams. And this is the epitome of a locked room thriller. It is so fast paced. It is about a college student named Darby who she needs to get back home to visit her mother because she is on her deathbed. And so Darby faces this really terrible snowstorm in order to get to her mother, but she drives a pretty terrible vehicle and it breaks down, and so she has to pull over into a rest stop. And there's a few other people who are also staying at that rest stop. There's an older couple as well as a couple of young gentlemen, and when she's outside trying to get some cell reception, she sees something very strange. So she thinks she sees a person inside of one of the vehicles, and she knows that that vehicle belongs to one of the people who is inside of the rest stop. She basically goes batshit over that, but she's trapped in this location. She has to be at the rest stop and there's nowhere to go. Her car won't travel. There's a snowstorm. And this one is amazing. It has a couple of really good twists, but overall it's just a super heart-pumping thriller. The next book I have to talk about is An Unwanted Guest by Sherry Lapina. This book kind of deviates from Sherry Lapina's normal domestic thriller type of book, and this one is a more classic mystery that really reminds me of Agatha Christie, but with a modern twist. And this is about a group of people who decide to stay in this hotel over the weekend, but unfortunately a huge storm hits and they are stuck. And the first night there, a person is found dead at the bottom of the staircase, and at first everyone thinks that it was an accident, but a doctor who is staying there, he discovers that the person was actually murdered and that it was not an accident. And everyone keeps being picked off one by one, and you're wondering who is the murderer, because there's only a select amount of people that could be the murderer. It's either one of the guests or one of the employees, and it's really hard to know who you can trust. And this one to me was such a fast-moving mystery. I really enjoyed it, and I would highly, highly recommend it. The next one I have to recommend is one I just finished this last week, and I absolutely adored it, and that is The Passengers by John Mars. And this is a sci-fi thriller that is set in the future where we have self-driving vehicles and we no longer drive our own cars. and 8 people enter their vehicles and they enter their destinations into the nav system, and they think they're going to get to their destination, but all of a sudden a voice takes over in their car and tells them that they have no control over their car and that within a couple of hours they are going to be dead. And video cameras inside the vehicle are recording them and live streaming them on the internet, and people are having to vote of who will live and who will die. And among the people in these cars is a pregnant woman, a married couple, a celebrity, a man who wants to commit suicide, an immigrant who is seeking asylum, a war veteran, so a lot of different types of people, and it definitely plays on your morality and you're wondering what would you do. And this one was so heart pumping. I was on the edge of my seat dying to know what would happen, and I could not recommend this one more. It is so good. The last book I have to recommend is Sleep by C.L. Taylor, and this one is about a young woman named Anna who she is trying to escape her past, and so she takes a job at a hotel on a Scottish island. This is a hotel that is kind of in the middle of nowhere, and they have a tour guide who takes all of the guests on these walking tours, and so people travel there specifically to go on hikes. And a huge storm hits the hotel in the area and no one is able to leave or go on their hikes, and so all the guests along with Anna and her boss and the tour guide are all stuck there. And then someone in the hotel dies and it's really mysterious and suspicious, and so Anna is really struggling because she already suffers from insomnia, but when this happens she struggles even more, and you see through her eyes and things get definitely bleak. And this one was so good. I was addicted to it. I couldn't put it down, and I would really recommend it. So those are all the locked room mysteries and thrillers I have to recommend for you guys. I will link these all down below, and I will see you guys on my next one. Bye.